Hi everyone, hope you're all doing good and thank you for joining me today. My name is Carol. I do my videos and I try to share what I know and what I understand and keep it all real, because there's a lot of information out there right now, and as we all go through our awakening process and the rise in energies, we start to get glimpses into other realities and glimpses into what we can become and who we really are on the inside. And we're all trying to find our freedom and to break away from the dogma that has been layered upon us year after year and lifetime after lifetime. So the problem, and it is a problem that occurs during this search for answers and for the truth that we can all feel inside of us, the problem that occurs during that search is that we, and this includes me, tend to get caught up in all of the theatrics. And the fluff and the dazzling stuff. All of the healing and our psychic abilities, and if you've been awakening for a while and on this path of trying to find the truth, what you have come across is the idea that this is all a story and that this is all an illusion. And it's true, it is. This is an illusion and it is a story, and we don't have to buy into it. The problem happens when we try to escape it, because I'm not trying to say that we can't escape the illusion of this reality and to make it a better reality, but we can't lose sight of who we are as human beings, and we can't lose sight of the fact that there is a greater creator. We are creators ourselves, and so we can create within our own matrices, but we have to keep in mind that there is a higher power, that there is an energy out there that understands all of this much better than we do. If we can keep that in mind and keep our faith alive in it, it keeps us from stumbling in the darkness that surrounds us while we're trying to make our way towards the light. So I don't want to be like everybody else and tell you how to manifest, although I have done a video or two on it. And yes, I do want to help you understand what empathy is about and other dimensions of being, how our psyche works in this reality, etc. But the important thing, and this is the message that I really want to get across to everybody, is that in order for us to become the masters of our reality, in order for us to raise our vibrational frequencies, we have to first be comfortable with who we are, right here and right now, in our humanness. We have to make peace with our past and with our demons, with our shadow selves, with the dark side. We have to make peace within ourselves so that we can be peaceful with everybody else around us. And that's not going to happen if we're trying to run away from it. If you're trying to manifest a reality so that you can escape this reality, that's, while you are going to find some success in it, in the end, in the long run, you are simply exchanging one illusion for another. Truly. So you can manifest a different reality for yourself. You really can. And it can be within this reality, but just operate differently and on a different frequency. But what will end up happening is that if you haven't dealt with your demons, with the things that you're trying to run away from in this lifetime, they're going to follow you over into whatever other life you decide to manifest for yourself. And they might be worse. So however long you've been on this planet, in this lifetime, if you're If you've spent 20 years now, you're 20 years old and you've spent 20 years on this planet, you're 40 years old, you're 60 years old, whatever, you have a working, waking knowledge of this lifetime and who you are and your demons. And they can be overcome. You just have to know it, and you have to ask for help from other human beings and from a higher power. If you don't take care of whatever difficulties you're having now in this lifetime, wherever you go to after this, you're going to take it with you. It's going to manifest again. That's what reincarnation is all about, so that we can deal with those issues and learn how to make peace within ourselves. Because that's the only way that we're going to attain that higher level of awareness and ascend or move up to heaven or whatever it is that you believe in. So we can't, none of us, we can't run away from this. And that shouldn't be a terrible thing to hear, because it's just like anything else in life that might feel difficult and hard to do at first, and maybe you're afraid to do it. I don't know, a school test, or starting a new job, or meeting new people, or having to tell somebody bad news, or going to the dentist or the doctor or whatever. So it's difficult in that before it happens, and because you spend so much time thinking about it and spend so much time worrying about it and fretting over it, that you give it all that energy and you make it bigger than what it really is. When if you just take a deep breath, ask for assistance and guidance, and trust that you'll be okay in dealing with that situation, going to the dentist or confronting a friend or taking a test, whatever it is that has you so worried and so worked up, you can get through it. And once you do that, the next time will be easier, because you'll know that it's just that moment before you have to do it. It's the way that your mind works to try and keep you in fear and make you afraid of things, to keep the chaos going. So for everybody searching for enlightenment, it starts inside of yourself. And the only way that that can happen is if you start to face who you are. And it's okay. We all have dark sides. I do too. And I'm not always a happy-go-lucky person. Most of the time I am, but it's human nature. We have positive and negatives. It's our duality. Everything can be managed. And once you make peace inside of yourself, forgive yourself for whatever you've done, or for whatever you think you may have done, because sometimes we think we've done something terrible and we really haven't. Or at least most other people don't see it that way. We can be our own worst critics and our own harshest judges. So we need to learn to forgive ourselves. We need to learn to understand that we're just human and that we're doing the best that we can. And ask for forgiveness if you need to. There was once, I watched Joan of Arc, and I felt very moved by it. So I went to my bathroom and locked myself in there so that I could be alone and consider what I was experiencing. And I started crying, sobbing, because I realized that in some ways I had been Joan of Arc, in thinking that I knew, little old Carol knew what God wanted, what Jesus wanted for me. So I cried, I sobbed, and I said, "Oh my God, please forgive me. I didn't realize." And what I heard was, "I have already forgiven you. It is you who needs to forgive yourself." Whew, huge turning point in my life. So I spent probably a couple of years after that learning how to forgive myself for all kinds of things. And always I was told in those little whispers in my head that it was okay, that you are just human. This is what I told. You are just human. You are a little God learning who you are, your potential, your full potential. And little gods are like little children. They're not expected. We are not expected to know everything. We are not expected to be able to wave a magic wand and do whatever, create some Eden or whatever. We're not expected to do that. And likewise, we are almost, if maybe instantaneously, forgiven of our sins, but we hold ourselves accountable. We don't forgive ourselves. God has already forgiven us. We need to learn how to forgive ourselves. We need to grow our faith. We need to grow our faith in ourselves, and we need to grow and cultivate our faith in God, or the Creator, or the uni-verse. But in the meantime, playing around in the New Age movement and all of the Enlightenment cults that are popping up everywhere, and they are popping up everywhere. Somebody made the mention of Enlightenment has a huge market, and it does. It really does. After I heard that, I did a little bit of research online, and everybody's selling books on how to become enlightened, and everybody's selling lectures on how to become enlightened, and readings on how to do something or to figure out their past lives, etc. Let me tell you something about past lives and wanting to find out what your past lives were. I was told many moons ago when I was going through my awakening, and I wanted to know about my past lives too. And I was told, you cannot handle your current life. What makes you think you could handle remembering what your past lives were? That kind of made sense to me. And then I had a spontaneous memory where I had led a lot of people astray. I had spoken words to them and convinced them. I was like one of those charismatic leaders way back when. I mean, way back when, before Jesus. I mean, way back. So I had been one of those charismatic speakers that are forming cults all over the world right now. And people were listening to me. I had the power of persuasion in my voice, is what I was told and what I understood. And I believed what somebody else told me, and I convinced the crowds to follow me and to do this, whatever it was. And a lot of people made some really bad decisions, met an untimely death because of that. So I have spent many lifetimes paying that back and being afraid to use my own voice. The reason why I bring it up now is because when I finally did have that spontaneous memory, I did not go see somebody for it. It happened quite spontaneously. I was devastated. And I kept it to myself for many years because I was very embarrassed and very ashamed that I would do something like that. Had another very spontaneous memory where my brother and I and my mother, we shared a lifetime. We were not mother and siblings at that time, but we were connected somehow. And my brother, I'm not sure who he was to me at that time, but he and I killed my mother in this other lifetime. And I felt very embarrassed about that one too, and couldn't figure out how to deal with it. And then one day, for whatever reason, I told my mother about that memory. My mom, barely without blinking an eye, said to me, "Oh, that must be why I was always afraid of you." Could you imagine? Yes, I grew up as a child growing up. I could sense that my mother was afraid of me, but I couldn't really put my finger on it. And it wasn't until I told her about that dream that she very openly and casually admitted that as I was growing up, she was afraid of me. So, and that explains why. But so that's the whole thing about this enlightenment process and seeking to know all these different things, because if you know how to access those past life memories and they don't come spontaneously, if they don't come spontaneously, that means you're not ready for it. And if you force it, you might open a door that you're not ready to deal with, and it could cause major trauma for you. If you somehow learn how to do all this manifesting and to do telekinesis and mind reading and all that other stuff, and you haven't learned the basic tenets about doing unto others as you would have done unto you, etc., then what you are doing is you are a child with a loaded gun. That's what's happening. And that's really a lot of what's going on right now with all of the cults that are arising and all of the New Age Enlightenment series and psychic phenomenon things and etc. People have, let me put it to you this way, a little bit of knowledge can be very dangerous, because a little bit of knowledge shows you a tiny sliver of what is really going on, and meanwhile you're missing this entire big picture, and what you are learning is taken out of context. So be careful, be aware during your search for answers and enlightenment and trying to find the truth and learning about psychic phenomena and synchronicities and manifesting, etc. It's all true. The ET phenomenon, the extraterrestrials, the other dimensions that are around us that we can touch if we go into the right meditation frequency, all of that stuff is true. It really is. It's a part of the truth. And I have firsthand experience with all of it, channeling, etc. But when you open yourself up to that stuff, and I'm not saying don't do it, because it is a learning process and it helps you to grow. So I'm definitely not saying don't do it. I'm saying be aware while you're doing it. Be aware of where your information is coming from. Be aware of who you decide to follow. Make sure that you don't give your power away. Keep in mind that whatever other human is telling you this stuff, whatever it's about, manifesting or enlightenment or the matrix theory, any of that stuff, fifth dimension, fourth dimension, sixth dimension, whatever, keep in mind that those people are human beings too. They really are. They're on this earth, they're in bodies, they're human beings. And even if they say that they're ETs, they're still in a human body on this planet, okay? They're still subject to third dimensional density. They're still subject to everything else that's going on around us. And they're subject to what we're feeling. Yes, I believe that there are extraterrestrials among us. I really do. And I believe that some of them are really good. And I believe that some of them really don't want us to advance as a species. And I've been down that path, and I know how fascinating all of the psychic phenomena stuff is. And I know how fascinating it is to manifest something and they go, wow, cool. I know how good it feels to finally make a realization, and you want to share it with the world. But I'm going to tell you something here. If you sit on it long enough and let it really seep into you, what you will discover is that that is only part of the answer that you've been seeking. And then later on you'll be like, whew, glad I didn't share that with anybody, because that wasn't the whole truth. So, and I see this happening a lot with a lot of the younger people that are out there doing enlightenment videos and being gurus, etc. And they have it. They've got great messages. They really do. But they don't have it all, and they don't have the experience behind it. Because we are here as human beings, and we're here to learn how to make peace inside of ourselves in this lifetime, right now. Don't drink the Kool-Aid and think that, you know, some ET ship is going to come in and rescue you off of here, or God's going to snap his finger and everybody who believes in Jesus is going to go up to heaven. Because even if you believe in Jesus, but you don't have your stuff together inside of you, why are you going to be taken? Why would they take you to a world that's beautiful and pure and filled with light if you don't know how to forgive yourself? Because if you can't forgive yourself, let me tell you this right now. If you can't forgive yourself, you are incapable of forgiving anybody else. Truly, really truly. I mean, you can say that you forgive them, but you're always going to harbor something there. So the first step is to learn how to forgive yourself. So I'm doing this video just so that you all know that it really is important to build your faith in yourself and to cultivate your faith in a higher power. And knowing that we are all connected, we are not disconnected. That is part of the illusion. We are connected, but we're not here to try and ascend someplace to a better planet before we've taken care of what needs to be taken care of inside of ourselves, inside of our own bodies and our own minds. And a good way to start with that is to tell yourself every day something really nice about yourself and about your life. Thank you, God, or thank you, Creator, for everything that you've given me. You know what? As difficult as life can be, and I've had a really difficult one. I was an abused woman. My ex-husband used to beat me severely. And that's a whole nother story. Victim Witness Protection Program, had to be moved out of state, etc., or otherwise they wouldn't guarantee my family's safety. Yes, I have forgiven him, and I learned a lot of important lessons from him, and there was some karma that we needed to clear up between us. But without making this video too long, step outside, especially now that the weather is warmer. Take a couple of deep breaths. Listen to the birds. See the leaves on the trees swaying back and forth. Even listen to the motorcycles going down the road. Look at the water. Watch some animals. Look at your children playing. And realize how much you have to be grateful for. Because the moment you truly start to realize that there is at least something in your life to be grateful for, whatever it is, then all the rest of it starts to fall into place. And it becomes easier to connect with your higher self, with God. It becomes easier to connect with the peaceful energies that are all around you, because the energies right now are ripe for manifesting. So if you have negative thoughts, you're going to manifest negatively. So as much as you can, stay positive. And find a way to sit in silence for a few minutes every day. Take a deep breath and imagine the light filling you up inside. And that you're going to imagine yourself finding your own enlightenment. Imagine yourself finding your path and being happy with it. Really what I want to leave you with is the idea that you can learn all of the things that fascinate you and that you want to learn about. But keep in mind always that those are just aspects of the truth. They all have to come together in order for you to understand the truth and to attain true enlightenment. And that a little bit of knowledge can be a dangerous thing. And that before you can ascend, before you can get off of this earth plane and go to some beautiful place, you need to make peace within yourself right here and right now and appreciate being a human. So don't try to run away. If you're having a difficult time, I mean really difficult time, please feel free to contact me. I'll be happy to talk to you. I don't want to see anybody else commit suicide because they didn't have anybody who understood them to talk to. I will be happy to sit down and talk with you, to sit on the phone or do a Skype session, etc. And there are other people out there who will do the same for you. But you have to reach out. You have to ask for that help. But it does get easier, I promise you, because I was in that place. I wanted to commit suicide. I wanted to get off this earth plane. That's not the answer. I promise you it's not. Okay, I love you all. I'll try to do another video tomorrow talking more about that. Please keep your faith alive. Learn to have faith in yourself. Trust in yourself and your connection to the great Creator. And know that we are all connected. Much love and many blessings to all of you.